In this video, we're going to take a look at decal adapter. Almost all of our models these days has some type of decals, some more, some less. Decal adapter is one of those tools on our workbench that is so important for a highly produced and professional looking model. To get a real assessment of decal adapter, well, we'll need a subject. And for this, let's take it from the very beginning as if this were a model. We'll create our test piece here. So we have an airplane fuselage, which I'm painting with AK Air colors. And let's have a little fun here and put some camouflage on it, adding some green bands or green stripes of camouflage over the gray base color. Of course, we'll need some decals to test the adapter upon. And well, these decals, they're just left over from prior projects. I keep a box of these in my spare parts box. You never know when they're going to come in handy. I first choose this area on the fuselage, and this will be a very big challenge to set any type of decal. This is a very large tiger, and there is a very distinctive height gap or difference in surfaces between the front, the cowling, and the fuselage. To this point, only water is being used to align the decal in its proper location. And since we're having a lot of fun applying decals, let's put an aircraft number to the side of this fuselage. This, of course, is a very large decal, and we hope that it's going to conform over the rounded shape of the fuselage in addition to all the panel lines and surface features. It's common when applying decals that any excess moisture can be removed using a cotton swab. The cotton swab can also be used to aid in removing any air bubbles that might be trapped underneath, generally overall help the decal conform to the surface. Now with the emblems in place, now we can apply our decal adapter. Simply take a brush, dip it into the adapter solution, and brush it gently over the surface of the decals. That's all there is to it. Nothing more. No need to wipe off any excess. Of course, we'll do the same to the fuselage numbers as well, just applying the decal adapter with a brush lightly over the surface. And now the process is complete. We just need to allow this to dry for at least a few hours. And in my case, on this example, I allowed it to dry overnight. And we'll come back in a little while at the end of this video and take a look at the results. Let's take a look at another example. This is a part with recessed panel lines. Very common in modeling, but always a challenge for decals. Of course, the goal is to have the decal look as though it were painted onto the surface, and that includes into the recesses of the panel lines themselves. In this test, the part was painted with AK real colors. There has been no surface varnish at all. The decal is directly placed on top of the paint. Excess is removed with the cotton swab as before, and any air bubbles tapped away. With the markings in place, now we can come back with the decal adapter. Using a brush, just a light coating over the tops of the surface. We'll set this aside to dry, and once again we'll come back and take a look at the results at the end of this video. This will be a challenge for any type of decal setting. This is a radiator type surface. It has a very fine mesh weave surface pattern. As in the prior examples, the decals are set in place and any excess moisture is removed using a cotton swab. Decal adapter is applied over the top. We'll set this aside, and once again we'll take a look at the final results at the end of this video. For this final example, this is the most difficult challenge. Perhaps we've been working on our model and we've even started to weather the model, as is the case here, but we forgot to add our markings. Now we are trying to do it after we already have the weathering. The surfaces are not clean, they're not pristine, it's not a new paint job. I think that you will agree this is not ideal, and this will be a challenge for any type of decal. These decals are applied in the same manner using water, and then once in place, decal adapter is applied over top. Now it's time to take a look at the results. Here's our first test piece. This is the aircraft. We have our fuselage number to the rear, which is conformed very nicely to the round shape of the fuselage and the panel lines. To the front, we have that large tiger that has his paw across the cowling and the fuselage. The difference in height there is very noticeable, a very distinct ridge. But as you can see from this photograph, the decal has conformed very nicely, even to this extreme surface feature. Let's pull out all of the test pieces and take a closer look, and let's see how successful we were using Decal Adapter to conform these decals to all these different types of situations. Overall, it looks as we've been very successful with our application of decals over a variety of surfaces, including raised panel lines, recessed panel lines, extreme surface details, and even, of course, a model with prior weathering on it. Decal Adapter, an important tool that should be on every modeler's workbench, helping to ensure that the application of your decals produces quality and professional looking models.